Even though his username everywhere is Co1azo, most people just call him by his first name, Cole, and that's always been his greatest quality. He loves to open up and engage with his viewers, but does it while still playing Fortnite at an extremely high level.
Look at you, Rat. No, oh my God!
This is the story of Co1azo.
Yeah, they say the sky is the limit.
Cole's always been a huge gamer, even from a really young age. But according to his parents, he's always had two other main interests since he was a child: soccer and just hanging out with his friends. Sometimes this got to the point where it started to affect his education in high school. But when it was time to apply for colleges, he still got accepted to Penn State and as an athlete. But when he finds something he enjoys, he just commits fully to it. For example, one summer, he got a full-time job that was painting the fire hydrants around his local area in Philadelphia. So although it was in college where Cole's online username was first invented, but it actually originated from him playing for the soccer college team. In soccer, there was a tradition between fans that, whenever somebody they support scores an impressive goal, the fans shout, "Golazo." And since Cole was an aggressive player that was scoring a lot for his team, a bunch of his friends came up with another chant instead, "Co1azo." And he liked the sound of it so much that he turned it to his username. However, as he started getting more and more into college, his enthusiasm for soccer started lowering. It was mainly because of a terrible coach that he had. And because of that, he started to turn more towards gaming. And at the time, he was playing social games like FIFA and Call of Duty and Fortnite. But his introduction to the world of streaming was in a pretty untraditional way. Rather than just coming across it naturally as a viewer, one of his friends just recommended he try it. You can kind of tell that as well because he created his Twitch account on the 8th of April 2018. But 3 days after that was his first ever stream. And it definitely wasn't as good as it is today, at least visually.
It's your way, dude. You guys see that? Watch the stream. Watch the stream.
I'm watching the stream.
That's how you do it.
Because of that start, Cole was streaming Fortnite directly off of his Xbox, and he still plays on a controller today. But at the time, he had no overlays, no setups, only the default stream that Xbox lets you share. Somehow though, he managed to get a small following of single-digit viewers. And he realized if he wanted to keep doing it and really take it seriously, he needed to get a real computer, so he could just control the editing of his live stream properly.
And there's a kid on the mountain. Yeah, Fletch, clip that. I'm kidding, you don't have to clip that. Now you have to clip.
Luckily, he was able to borrow $850 from his mom to buy a streaming PC. And he knew what he was asking was probably unrealistic, and he was even expecting a no, planning other ways to really come up with the money. He promised his mom that if she bought it for him, every single dollar he made would go towards paying her back until there was nothing left. And surprisingly enough, she agreed. And about a half a year after he started, through getting some dedicated fans and a bunch of donations, he raised enough money to pay her back fully. It wasn't the greatest PC ever, but he didn't need it to be the best because his stream was focused on something else. If you haven't seen Cole's stream before, alright, it has a really relaxed atmosphere, but the highlight of it is that, he always has tons of conversations with the people watching it. When he first started out, he tried, looking at other streamers to see what they were doing that really made them so popular. And it was by watching that he realized that he could actually be quite good at it. He admitted, tons of times on his stream that when he sets his mind on achieving a goal, he tends to throw himself fully in it. So he decided to use this passion to his benefit by interacting with something a lot of streamers take for granted: the chat.
Bro, look at this guy moving. What game am I playing? Because it sure as hell is not Fortnite.
He felt like a lot of other streamers really ignore their viewers and don't give them the respect they deserve. But on top of that, since he had a very outgoing and social personality, it let him just naturally get on well with his viewers. Basically, he wanted to give them a social experience that they couldn't really get from anywhere else. He still remembers everything about his first group of viewers, including his first ever sub, which was an account called 𝗵𝗵_3000.
I can talk to people. People come into my chat. I knew my first person that ever subbed. His name was 𝗵𝗵_3000 3 years ago. It was right when I got affiliate, he subbed. He subbed for a year probably. I don't know where he's been. He comes in every half a year. Says what's up.
One thing that makes Cole's stream really stand out from so many others is that he's both consistent but also very dedicated. He constantly streams for over 10 hours and usually for most of the week. When he was starting out though, he was still attending college and taking classes on the side. He was balancing hours of streaming alongside his education, but somehow managed to do it. And after a few months of carrying on like this, he was regularly getting around 10 or 20 viewers tuning in to watch him play Fortnite. But the biggest burst of exposure he got was on the 20th of August 2018. 𝗏𝗏𝗀𝗏 was playing in a sub-tournament for 𝗦𝘁𝗁𝗏's stream, and he was playing quite well. He survived through the first few rounds, climbed through the quarterfinals, and even placed highly in the semifinals. And by the end of it, he won $250 playing Fortnite. 𝗦𝘁𝗁𝗏 even dropped in to talk to him on his stream and had over 1,000 people watching him. And by the end of the day, Cole had over 900 new followers. He had a pretty regular fan base now of around 50 people, but Epic announced the Fortnite World Cup was coming a few months later in April. And he started practicing as much as he could. And it was the World Cup qualifier games where Co1azo started to get more and more attention as a streamer because he was just very talented at the game. In the World Cup warm-up, he got 10th place as a duo, but when it came time for the main event, he wouldn't qualify for anything, unfortunately. He still placed quite high though, getting 15th in duos and 56th in solos. Co1azo continued to play at an extremely high level despite this, but most of the tournaments at the time were squad-based. He was playing in every single cash cup that Epic announced, and he was winning money almost off of all of them. It wasn't a lot, but it was better than nothing. He even played in the first ever FNCS and qualified in 4 out of the 5 weeks that it was possible. His trio made it all the way to the heat stages. But when they were there, they underperformed in all their games and they only got 31st place out of all the teams in the semifinals. His performance at the event and his dedication towards improving was noticed, and it had gotten the attention of an esports team, 𝗵𝗵𝗏. Later on, they were bought out by another team called Overtime Gaming, and Co1azo would be signed to them while he finished out his contract. But for the second FNCS, which was squads, Co1azo was trying out as a fourth for loads of different groups. And because he was so flexible around what people wanted, he was playing with some of the most famous and talented players in the game. A good example of this is the time he played scrims with 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏, 𝗵𝗏𝗏𝗏, and 𝗵𝗏𝗏𝗏 to see if their chemistry was any good. They performed so well as a squad, but the three ended up going with Ninja as their fourth. Co1azo made a bunch of important connections from doing this though. And in the FNCS warm-up, his squads was made up of Ninja, 𝗵𝗏𝗏𝗏, and 𝗵𝗏𝗏𝗏. And by playing with so many huge names on his stream, his view count never went anywhere close below 100. For the rest of the FNCS, he'd be playing with a completely different team, but they still turned on into an equally amazing performance. They made it all the way to the heat, but missed out on getting to the grand finals by a single place. But 2020 was absolutely Co1azo's year, man. He went on from averaging around 50 viewers to the 2,000 range he would normally get still today. In March was the third ever FNCS, and Epic decided it would be duos. He was playing alongside 𝗵𝗏𝗁𝗏, and in their first week they underperformed and came in 127th place. It seems like Co1azo took that personally to heart because in the next few days that came after that, he played absolutely out of his mind.
Let's go, 𝗏𝗏𝗏! We qualled!
Wait, I'm on height.
Oh, dude.
I'm rocking down.
Let's go, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏! That's what I'm talking about!
He pulled off this insane clutch in the final game that made sure that they'd make it to the top 10 for that week's tournament. And then next week, they get to the top 10 again. In the heat, they'd only get 13th place, but if I'm being honest, that's still really impressive. April was a pretty busy month for Cole. Outside of FNCS though, his contract with Overtime Gaming expired, and he was a free agent starting from the beginning of April. And on his birthday that year, the 24th of April, he hosted a stream for it. He set a goal of 2,500 subscribers, not actually expecting to really hit it, but his fan base came through and they broke it before the stream ended. And since it was a sub goal, he promised his chat that he'd do something very special for reaching that number. And he definitely lived up to it because later that day, he shaved off all of his hair.
The Benji.
Pop this big pot or you're lame.
No way. Ban him now.
Let me pop it.
Oh, you won't.
I bet. Come in.
Oh my god, Cole, stop. You don't have to do it. You don't have to do it. You don't have to do it. I'm sad.
Look at the dent. See the line for the dent.
Happy birthday.
Over the next few months, Cole kept practicing until he found a new organization that he felt really supported him, KNG. And a few days later, he was playing in the solos FNCS in August 2020. After getting 79th in the first qualifier, things were looking pretty bad. Although, when it was time for the heat, he brought it back up entirely. He ended up getting 23rd in his entire group and a chance to really play in the grand finals. Out of all 100 players, he ended up with a very respectable 24th place overall. It was around this time co1azo's stream had really taken off, and he was pulling in around 1,000 viewers a stream. And since playing Fortnite was becoming financially viable as a full-time career for him, he decided to officially stop attending college. But during all of this, Cole was having some trouble dealing with KNG. He felt like all the people who were working there were great, but that the organization itself wasn't very respectful of him as a person. It didn't really seem like he was being really taken seriously or that they had his best interests in mind. And eventually, after tons of behind-the-scenes negotiations, he managed to leave the contract in December. One of the scariest streams co1azo, ever had was on the 25th of November 2020. It was a 15-hour stream, and he was playing with two of the biggest names of Fortnite, 𝗏𝗏PK and 𝗏𝗏. And on top of all of that, there were his influences when he started streaming. The stream even got hosted by clicks, meaning at one point, almost 4,000 people were watching Cole's stream. But one of the things that really makes Cole such a consistently enjoyable player to really watch is how fast he's been improving since he started. In the very first week of the Season 5 FNCS, his trio got 18 plays. On their second attempt at the qualifiers, they sweep in and come in first with an 85-point lead over second place. They get 13 plays in their heat group overall, but it wasn't enough to qualify for grand finals. The good news is he's finally found a new team and joined TSM on the 29th of March this year. And with such a big name team behind him and tons of tournaments on the horizon, things are looking great for co1azo. So the good news is that he's finally found a new team, right? And he's joined TSM on the 29th of March this year. And with such a big name team, really behind him now and tons of tournaments on the horizon, things are looking really good for co1azo. All right, so that wraps up things up for us today. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hey, if you guys liked the video, you already know what to do. Subscribe to the channel. And if you want some more motivation, connect with me on my Instagram at 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏guy. I'm so proud of you guys. I believe in you so much. Keep going. I'll see you soon.